Renewed calls are mounting for stricter enforcement on laws at spaza shops. This after food poisoning outbreaks among pupils in various places in the country. In Komani, for instance, in the Eastern Cape, 120 pupils from 2 neighbouring schools fell ill, allegedly after consuming expired food bought from a spaza shop. eNCA reporter Ronald Masinda is tracking that story for us, and he brings us the latest. Ronald, maybe let's start off with an update on how those 120 or so pupils are doing.
Good afternoon, Masako. Well, it is an incident that has certainly sparked a lot of shock and outrage. And just to come to your question, at least one of the pupils who were affected is still in hospital. But the good news is that this pupil who was in a critical condition is now recovering in hospital. And we actually visited the pupil, a 14-year-old girl with mother, as well as members of the eNCA local municipality and the Chris Hani district municipality. And what is also shocking, Maseko, is that the person who supplied the food is well known to these schools. I mean, she's an old lady who has been selling food for years outside of the school, and there has not been any problems ever since. It is suspected that her supplier is an owner of a spaza shop. I can tell you at this stage that the Chris Hani district municipality is in discussions with a lot of other departments to try to get to the bottom of what the issues are in terms of the spaza shops, people who are not adhering to health laws. But what we can say at this stage is that there's a lot of relief. There was a lot of panic, especially in the school that we also visited earlier in the day, where there was a prayer meeting, and it is hoped that such an incident does not occur again in the future. This is what the mother had to say of the 14-year-old girl.
Uthugqa kuseza kamjonge then bazamphupha bamsemawadini but kangatsho banini sizawuva ngugqirha.
All right. Ngokuvalelisa mama, umntana kuthiwa omnye abantwana bethenga phaa kule shop, nizothatha isiphi inyathelo ngokuxa besiya esikolweni abantwana?
Nomo ndimnika imali yokukhera ndizamenzela isikhaftini.
All right.
Enkosi.
Okay, Sabulela, Mom. Well, the mother there of Imangwe Vetez was saying that the symptoms were of the 14-year-old. She was very, very, very ill, vomiting blood, as she said there. Just at a young age of 14, she was fighting for her life. She hopes now that while the child recovers and goes back to school, that she will now be the one packing lunch for her instead of allowing her pocket money to buy from shops.
Well, Ronald, there are laws that govern, especially, for instance, street hawkers, etc. These are bylaws that are supposed to be enforced by the municipality. Did you speak to officials from municipality level?
Yes, indeed, and they say that things will be a lot stricter. But the condemnation of what took place is also felt in other parts of the province. We know that the ANC are actually planning a big march in Komani, calling for these spaza shops who are not adhering to health laws to start adhering and get stricter penalties in place. But what I do have this hour, Maseko, I have the Eastern Cape Education Department with me just to give us a bit of reaction. Buklela, thank you so much, Siswam, for your time. Worrying incident, but not for the first time in the province. How is the department going to deal with this?
Thank you very much, Ronald. First and foremost, as this would have caught the attention of the public and most probably worry about us delivering grade 12 examination correctly, I can tell you the first day of the writing of the examination has went well. At 5 o'clock, Mr. Mabona, who is the chief director responsible for examination, is going to convene a meeting with the heads of examination across the province to get the most recent report. On this incident, yes, of course, it was really worrying because at the time it was spoken about, we thought that there are many learners that are of grade 12, but it came to our attention that indeed it's not the case. It's the ones that are in the lower grades. But be that as it may, it's a worrying factor because these are our own kids, and we wish that parents, SGPs, can take charge of their own schools. In the sense of making sure that they know who's selling anything in their own kids. And of course, you would have understood that across the country, there is a question on the people that are selling certain products in the form of spaza shops. And even in this incident, we are also interested as to what is going to come out of the report that is going to come from the Department of Health and also the report from the South African Police Service, because they are the ones that have got a responsibility of enforcing laws of the country.
Are you calling for hawkers not to be around schools?
Not necessarily to say that, but at least what we are expecting is that they must sell things that which they can sell to their own kids. If you are to sell a product to a kid, at least you must have a knowledge that that which you are going to sell to a kid is not expired and is not a food poison. And in many instances in our school, you find that ladies that sell in those schools, it's people that would have been known for a very long time, as it is the case even on this one. But what we're saying is that there must at least be a cooperation and there must be a clear check on what they sell to learners during school time.
Okay, my last question. We know that in the past there was also a similar incident in Port Alfred, and that one was related to people who are part of your own nutritional program. Will there be stricter measures put in place now to them as well to ensure that we don't have such incidents? Definitely.
We can't gamble with the life of our own kids. We're very strict on who handles food in the school premises. Look to the fact that the first prerequisite is that the people that are handling food must have their own kids inside the school, so that if there's any incident that happens, their own kids also are affected. But even on the one that you're referring to, it was a bit of an unfortunate incident, which it was then handled, and the report came to say that the milk that was served to them had a 1 day expired, something that the department took it very seriously, because you remember, when you talk of a school nutrition, strict requirement is that it must be food that is fresh, and also it must be food that can be served to any person that comes to the school. So that is the stand that we have, is that anything that is said is fed to learners at school. It must at least meet the standards.
Okay. Vuyiseka, thank you very much indeed for your time. Well, also the onus is also on schools to ensure that they have proper people serving food at schools. So that was the reaction there from the eNCA Education Department.
All right, Ronald Masinda live for us in Komani in the Eastern Cape.